Hey there, everybody still remote learning. In this video lesson, we're going to go over how to solve ratio word problems. Now remember, ratios might seem like fractions, but ratios are a part-to-part relationship where a fraction is a part-to-whole relationship. So here we're just looking at two parts of something. We're not looking at a part and a whole. And the problem that comes in says the ratio of white flour to wheat flour is 2 to 3. The recipe uses 10 cups of flour. How much of each type of flour is needed? So let's get into it. When we talk about ratios, I like to set them up as equations. Some people set up proportions, but your problems have to be written a certain way for you to be able to write it as a proportion, and those are usually more labor intensive. So first, let's talk about what this is saying. This is saying that for every 2 cups of white flour that are used, 3 cups of wheat flour are needed for a total of 10 cups for this particular recipe. So let's think about this with a table. This ratio isn't that difficult, especially with the 10 cup total limitation here, but I still want to think about this and I want you to be able to apply it to other problems. So let's see, number of cups of white flour. When we use 2 cups of white flour, we need 3 cups of wheat flour. So what would happen if we doubled the cups of white flour? If we went to 4, so 2 times 2 is 4, then how many cups of wheat flour would we need? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, so we would need 6. So 2 to 3 is equivalent to 4 to 6. What if we decided instead of 2 cups, we were going to triple this recipe? So we're going to say we want 2 times 3 or 6 cups of white flour. Well, if we tripled the amount of white flour, we need to triple the amount of wheat flour. So it would have to be 3 times 3, and 9 cups is how many we would need of wheat flour. All right, so you may already know the answer to this problem just based on the numbers they gave us and this table, but let's go through and set it up as an equation that you can use for any ratio word problem. So we're going to set it up like this. We're going to say the ratio is 2 to 3, so 2 times what multiplier plus 3 times what multiplier will give me my 10 cups, right? Because you need to multiply both 2 and 3 to the same quantity. Now, it looks a little weird here having a multiplication and a question mark, so we're going to clean it up and we're just going to use the variable x to represent our unknown value, and this is how you will write your equations. If you have a ratio of 2 to 3 for a total of 10, you will write 2x plus 3x equals 10. And now you can just solve this like you've solved equations in the past. All right, so what do? We have 2 variables. They obviously are not 2 different quantities, right? They're not 2 different values. They have to be the same value. So when we have 2 variables on the same side of the equal sign, we have to combine like terms. We can't do anything else before we combine 2x and 3x. So 2x and 3x, we just add 2 plus 3 and we get 5x equals 10. Now we have 5 times x equals 10. We want to solve for x. When you're solving for a variable, you want to get that variable alone. So you do the opposite of what is holding these two together. So this is 5 times x. That's what 5x means. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So that's what you have to do to both sides of the equation. Divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is just 1, so we're left with x. We get x equals 2. Now we can figure out how many cups of each type are needed. So I'm just going to give myself a little more room on this screen. All right, so in our equation, 2x plus 3x equals 10. 2x was the amount of white flour, and 3x represented the amount of wheat flour. So all we have to do is plug in the 2 that we got for x into both of these expressions, and we'll have our answer. So 2x equals 2 times 2. We need 4 cups of white flour. 3x equals 3 times 2. We need 6 cups of wheat flour. You want to ask yourself, I know you probably already know that this ratio 4:6 is equivalent to what we started with, but for other problems, you might want to say, hey, is the answer we got, is that ratio equivalent to what we started out with? So you want to say, does 2/3 equal 4/6? Remember, we can tell by cross multiplying when we get proportions. We want to know they're equal. We cross multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So our answer, in fact, is 4 cups of white flour and 6 cups of whole wheat flour. That's it. If you have more questions, you know what to do. Go to my YouTube, subscribe, send me a picture of your problem, and then you'll get a notification when your video is up. Teachers, you can always check out my TPT store. Till next time, take it easy.